Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. Things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and medications are hard to pronounce, so please bear with me. Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready. I got a post right here, though. It says, is there any way I can prevent my seizures? Unfortunately, I had a seizure after a whole year before without having any. I was supposed to be taking Keppra twice a day, but I was only taking it once a day, and I was feeling great until this seizure happened. My Keppra levels are normal. I wasn't stressed or anything, and yes, I know seizures are unpredictable and unexpected, but I feel like the doctors were blaming me in a way. Anyways, the main thing I want to know is there a way I can prevent it when I feel it's about to happen? I know some people say there's nothing you can do to prevent seizures, but if you're feeling those little symptoms or hints before this, what do you try? I know alcohol has helped me, not fully, but has helped. Rubbing alcohol, not drinking alcohol.
Wait, how would that work? How would that help? Like, in what form would they be using that for it to, like just smelling it to like wake them up or something? Like, what? I'm confused on that one. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just legitimately asking.
You're not being a jerk. That was it. What helps?
Because that's kind of interesting. I was going to say otherwise, maybe just a rescue med would probably be better rather than rubbing alcohol.
It also says for contact, I have lupus. So if you know lupus, if I stress my body, it feels like doing whatever that day. It will cause inflammation and flare-ups. So sometimes the inflammation can cause a seizure. Took my meds 3 to 4 times a day for 3 years. But yeah,
in the words of Dr. Gregory House, it's never lupus. No, but seriously, it sounds like this person has a lot more than just like epilepsy or just seizures that they're dealing with. If they have lupus, it's like their body's going through a lot. So I'm curious to see what the side effects of that medication are combined with, everything else.
Yeah, their body's under stress alone.
Are there any causes to lupus?
No, that's an autoimmune disease. It could be genetic. It could be anything.
One of the comments here says the easiest way to prevent your seizures is to use the medicine as prescribed unless conditions worsen. The easiest way to cause a seizure: do not use medication as prescribed. When I get the slight baby feelings of my TL seizures, if possible, I will go somewhere and be alone. I'll breathe 4, 4, 4, 4 seconds in, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then breathe out for 4 seconds. Also, just getting away from whatever stimulation can stop them for me. Last night, scrolling through Reddit was making me feel like that. I got off my phone and went to bed, no seizures, and here I am again. One more comment. It says, every case can vary greatly because each person is unique. Unfortunately, treatments often rely on generalized knowledge and techniques. In my experience, I avoid alcohol, consume caffeine only in moderation, Rest as much as possible, maintain stress-free like lifestyle, exercise daily, monitor and control my diet, and identify and avoid personal triggers. While it can be challenging, it's most important to know yourself better than anyone else. Most importantly, find a skilled neurologist and remain consistent. With treatment, I experienced an AEI and, for lack of a better term, developed epilepsy. So far, I've had it short, controlled auras, which seems to have some improved since adding excapre to Keppra that I was already taking. Are all the, like, what do they call it, cocktails different for each person?
It seems like they usually have more AEDs than benzos.
What's an AEI?
AED, the anti-epileptic drugs, that's in like the other class of medications. It's less concentrated and usually less side effects than the benzos. I usually see benzodiazepines as like more those are the ones that they call like Schedule 4s and 5s, controlled
Yeah,
substances.
in the last post, he said something about AEI. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Icebreaker today is I like the hair.
Thank you.
Icebreaker today is what's it called? Kay remembers. I forgot.
Okay. Icebreaker is, what is your favorite part of this group that makes it so productive?
Favorite part that makes it productive, or it seems like those are not necessarily the same thing. The favorite
All right,
part
go with productive
or
then.
the productive.
Yeah, what's the most productive part of in season?
Um, I mean, just learning about how different seizures can be between individuals and stuff. Not even just like absence seizures and tonic-clonics, but you know, there's a whole gamut of brain wonk that really was not explained before starting the epilepsy journey. So yeah, it was pretty cool to hear about everybody else's experiences, not to
Yeah, plenty of us love learning.
yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Good one.
Yeah, I got something here. And welcome. How you been doing?
Thanks. Been good. How about you guys?
All right. I like the hair.
Thank you. Yeah, I kept getting all like down and everything, so I just kind of get it up out of the way. The scalp feels so much breezier now. It's nice in the Florida heat, but I feel like I gotta sunscreen my scalp when I step outside. It's so short now. So there's like a balance between the cooling effect of having no hair and the sunburn on the white boy scalp. I gotta find that happy medium.
For some reason, like unless the sides of your head are crazy like pale, I don't think that it's going to change much based on your overall skin tone. Sorry, bud. You may live in Florida, and you live in the sun, but I got more of a tan than you up in Rhode Island.
Am I frozen?
Nope, you're there.
Okay, I didn't hear what Brandon just said. Oh, my internet connection's unstable. I don't know. Somebody hogging the bandwidth here.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
was
still got Netflix open. Hold on. I'm gonna just shut this down. Sorry, what? Something about a pale scalp?
I
Something?
was jokingly saying unless like the sides of your head are wildly like whiter than your face color, I don't think it's going to really make much of a difference because you live in Florida and you're in the sun. I live in Rhode Island up in the north and my tan is like this right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I live in Florida, but I stay in the cave. Like this mood lighting you see is my existence. I only run it.
Oh, there he goes again. Yeah.
Yeah. One
I
thing
was
I
going to
was gonna
say, I've always loved Mark's mood lighting, the purple.
Oh
I've always,
yeah.
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 Um, Pokey, what's up next, I guess?
I was gonna say James, the jacket. James,
Yeah, what's up?
the jacket kind of stuck out to me. You went to church?
Oh no, it's the first day of work at school. Like I said before, I dress a little like 1800s ish. So I got my vest, my pocket watch, chain, and everything. So this it's just kind of how I normally dress. I put the little pocket square in, just be a little bit more fancy since it was the first day back at work. But I'm just
What what do you
I'm odd,
teach?
but I'm odd like that.
Nothing wrong with that. Everybody has.
What was it that you teach?
I know I wish I could, but no. I'm just there a couple hours a day. Yard duty for like recesses
Oh,
and
so you wear that
lunches.
for
Uh,
yard duty?
yeah, yeah. It's just kind of my norm. I mean, this is just what I wear to go to the grocery store most of the time. It's just my normal. Like I said, I'm odd. That's just my style. But yeah, I'm there a couple hours a day. I try and volunteer for stuff. You know, if maintenance stuff is needed. You know, there's like the book fair each year. I help out with different some of the sports teams. Um, you know, and stuff. The
What's
yard
the
duty stuff. I
what's
need to
the
be
age
there for a
range?
certain. I'm sorry.
Or what's the grade range?
Uh, Elementary school. So for here, it's kindergarten to fifth grade.
Got it.
Um, for out here in California, or at least the area I'm at.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the yard duty stuff I actually get paid for, but a lot of the other stuff I try and keep it, you know, volunteer work. So that way, no one's truly really relying on me. So if I'm not feeling well, I have a seizure or something, I have to call out last minute. It's not, you know, no one's really like completely banking on me, you know,
Yeah,
being there, doing that, you know, that thing.
gotcha.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
I got something. It says can't open eyes during focal. When I'm having a focal seizure, my eyes forcibly close, and I get a lot of face movement, especially around my eyes. If I try to open my eyes, it's like pushing against a wall. I can't get them open slightly, but then they force shut again. It's so uncomfortable. Does this happen to anyone else? Um, I don't know because what about the focal I had when I wander off, or is that even a focal? Because I don't remember if my eyes are open when I'm walking around wandering. That's a very good question. Are my eyes open when I wander off during my wandering seizures?
I know when I go wandering, my eyes are open because I've wandered with an object of whatever I'm carrying or doing, and I put it somewhere. So I wouldn't be able to do that with my eyes closed. And I mean, the focal awareness, maybe for you, it's just starting to wipe the memory out. So that's what told me that
Maybe
when I
any
was
sort of
when they were
accident
getting
seizure.
worse. Yeah, it could
I've
be.
My focal awares were mostly like just staring at stuff, and yeah, but like staring at something, and I can't get my attention off of it, and I can't do anything else. Those are my focal awares, which is really weird. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else's eyes closed? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that happens to me. And same thing with the like sort of twitching, like facial ticks, kind of around my eyes. And I will feel like even with my eyelids closed, it's like, when you can kind of like look around even with your eyelids shut. Um, and if you're looking at someone's eyes like that, like you can kind of see their eyes moving under the eyelids. Have you ever seen that?
I imagined it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like that, but the I like what they said about pushing against a wall, because it feels like that when my eyes are closed and I'm doing the twitch like with my eyes, where it does feel like my eyes are trying to like punch out from my eyelids. And then like around my eyes, like in this area, like I'll have like sort of like kind of like those sort of
The
movements.
orbital area.
It's just like like my face is just like tensing up and like sort of twitching a little bit, kind of like this. And my eyes are like back and forth, trying to like punch out from my eyelids. Those
Okay,
usually
so
only
the
last like,
facial muscles as well as
yeah,
the
it's like,
eye muscles.
well, it's nothing down here. It's all like the muscles
But
around here. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, those only usually last like 2 minutes, maybe 3. And I just need to sit, but I can't open my eyes.
Do the triggers change the seizures for anybody? Like depending on the what the trigger is, what kind of seizure you have?
Um, no, because I usually can't figure out my triggers, but um, that's interesting. Like I was thinking, like, what if I would have had one from the lasers at the concert, and then would have been have harder if it was a seizure from sleep deprivation. You mean like that type of different?
Yeah, because I know the only one that I know will happen for sure is if I stop taking the meds, then it's definitely going to be a TC, a bad one. But other than that, it's all up in the air, whether it's that time of the month or just less sleep. I mean, less sleep for more than a week at this point because I'm down to 5 hours now and it hasn't caused anything. But time will tell, depending on the trigger. I wonder if it is different for other people.
Kate's joining me on that 5-hour game.
Yeah, and like the 8 hours once a week, totally covered it for the last 2 weeks now.
One of the comments here.
It's not
that,
ideal, but it works.
Yeah, and I still have more energy. Feel way better.
there's a comment on this can't open eyes focal. Says that actually happened to me the other night, but it wasn't a focal. I smoked too much weed apparently and greened out. It was no more than I usually smoke, but I had a cluster of seizures early in the week. So I think it was just me with too much for my brain, for what my brain is currently. So I went into greening out, and it flowed right into an aura, and I legit could not open my eyes. It's one hell of a seizure or an aura.
So were they aware and they couldn't open their eyes?
Uh, yeah, it sounds like it.
That would be terrifying.
We keep getting like the weed questions, or like we keep like bringing up weed questions. I feel like we need to compile all the answers that we've come up with and put out like a master list for people and just like post the link to it
Just
or
yeah,
something.
just do one vid on the podcast specifically about it, and then just get it all out of the way and done with.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could be a very short video. It's not the weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But people are gonna have more specific questions. That's all I'm saying.
Here's one that says, "Why do paramedics call everything panic attacks?" Um, why paramedics didn't understand that I had a seizure, not a panic attack. Around midnight, I was on the street next to my boyfriend's workplace when I started seizing and I dropped. One of my boyfriend's colleagues run to me, and luckily a neurologist walked there. What was the chance of that happening? The neurologist knew from the start that it was a seizure, and my boyfriend told them when he got there, I'm an epileptic. When I was cleared up, I also told them that I guess they don't believe me because I quickly cleared that up. Almost no postical phase that hits me later on, and no liquid came out of my mouth. Kind of argued with them a bit when I had another seizure on the way to the hospital. I hate that I call every seizure just a panic attack. I had a panic attack a few years ago, maybe, and this was actually a seizure. I was not diagnosed back then. I don't know. Am I just ranting? Um,
They had an actual neurologist there when it happened who said that it was a seizure, and but when they got to the hospital, they still didn't believe that it was a seizure.
so it sounds like
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about panic attacks, so forgive this question, but when people do have them, do their bodies also,
convulse. I don't know.
convulse and flail around? Is that common with that too? Like, why would they?
No, it's not.
Usually muscle tension, right?
I have a panic disorder due to my PTSD and anxiety. And a panic attack is very different from an anxiety attack, which is very different from a epileptic episode.
That's what I always thought as well. So I just yeah.
Usually with panic attacks, you're hyperventilating, you're shaking, but you're not convulsing. You might pass out because of how much.
I didn't hear that he said that. I may have like slipped it in passing, but
Well,
yeah,
that's awesome that your sister is an ER nurse, because that means that you have another person who is experienced and able to help you if need be.
Yeah,
very.
she's not just an ER nurse. When she goes in, they make her the charge nurse, so she is like the ER nurse. So I'm in good hands when I go over and spend the day at her house.
So this one can get some input from everybody. Feel free to trauma dump if you like. Has epilepsy ever ruined your relationships? This person says, I think my partner is getting annoyed at me talking about seizures and having to make appointments at the hospital, not being able to go out and do some things, etc. I feel dreadful about it. Let's start right from here. All right, Angel, you first.
Let's just say I'm going through a divorce. That's anything. But yeah. Yeah,
Okay, moving up. Okay, go ahead.
I think my wife got real tired a few years ago because my mom showed me a text she sent saying she was tired of like saying I wasn't even doing this stuff, but whatever. But saying, I was demanding like all these hospital, like taking my trips to the hospital and stuff, and picking up my meds. And I'm like, I'm using telehealth.
All right, James, how about you?
Yeah, I don't know if you were here or not. I kind of went through my my ex-wife and how that went, and some of the things that she said to me, and kind of put my epilepsy on me. Um, and yeah, if you were there, it still gets me kind of emotional. I prefer not to repeat it again. I'm not really ready yet, but yeah, it was definitely something that heavily weighed on my divorce back in 2017.
So, I mean, have you come to terms with actually managing your epilepsy and being able to look forward to moving on in a sense?
Because of how, oh, wow, my bad. Sorry, I forgot. I was so sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Don't do that again, Pookie. Anyways, Panic Attack will have you, God damn it, Pookie. Fuck's sake. Um, you're hyperventilating and shaking and usually crying and you can't get out words and you're not foaming at the mouth, but you got, yeah. Anyways, let me continue changing my freaking shirt as I was going to do. Yep. I thought that was just asking me to start the video so it would record, not actually turn on my freaking video. It's freaking scare me with that. Why would you do that to me?
Lufa, when you do
Yeah.
have
Oh.
panic attacks, do you get like the muscle tension? Like, do your muscles sort of tense up? Really?
Yeah, yeah, your
Okay.
muscles tense up, but it's different than a seizure.
No, I know. Yeah.
And it's also different than an anxiety attack. People
Yeah.
also will say panic attack and anxiety attack, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I had a panic attack," but that's actually an anxiety attack. A panic attack is it stems from a panic disorder where you kind of in the moment think that you are back wherever you were panicking before. And a lot of times people will go into like a cradled up position in a corner or in a closet or in a bathroom or in a tub, anywhere like dark and where no one can come from behind them, because it's almost like you're reliving a moment. So it's not epilepsy. It's
Yeah. Yeah. No,
different.
I asked about the muscle tension specifically because I don't know if you've seen Ted Lasso, but Jason Sudeikis' character in the show has panic attacks, and when it was happening to him, like he would do the like curled up thing, but it would when it would start, and I was wondering about it because I wanted to know how accurate they were portraying it. Um, where like he would start hyperventilating, but his fingers would sort of start clenching up like this. Um, and yeah, so when I asked, I knew it wasn't like full body, but just like, is it like, do you get that? Or
Yeah,
like,
like you're like a lot of people will like cradle themselves almost, or like clench their fist or start smacking their head even, um, uh, or start slapping themselves, just to try and like almost get yourself out of it. Um, and so a lot of those like involuntary but voluntary movements can happen. I call them involuntary but voluntary because there's there's a difference between like your body sending a a little lesson down to your hand and you throwing everything up in the air versus like you having a panic attack and trying to slap yourself out of it or clenching your fist up because or like scratching at yourself or digging your nails into your skin because um you're trying to do anything you can to really get yourself out of that moment. So it's like you're not noticing that you're doing it. Um, you're just kind of subconsciously doing it. Whereas with a seizure, that's a whole other thing. So I think people oftentimes mix up seizures and anxiety and panic attacks. But there are pretty distinct.
Probably more if you have an aura. Somebody's saying here they've been epileptic for 10 years now. They have left temporal lobe epilepsy the past year or so, noticing that they struggling to hear people correctly or hear them at all, especially in a busy room. I asked people to repeat themselves up to 3 times. Anybody else had this problem? And the first response is that that's my aura. My hearing turns into like an echoing room until the reverb gets so much I can't distinguish the original voice. Is your speech okay? If they try talking during an aura, it comes out like unintelligible. I was a teacher and parents evenings with everyone talking in a hall, but it became a nightmare even when they were fully controlled. Yeah, so that's kind of another reminder that auras are definitely seizures too.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm in the mood for cake. Oh, let me get back
Donuts
to
will
this.
do the trick, right?
Uh,
Get yourself a nice cup of milk and have it with the donuts.
the donuts. I got my fix. I don't think I'm in the mood for them anymore. It would just look good on the shelf. Anyhow, how to cope with the fear of the next seizure of a friend or a family member. For the people that know a friend or a family member with epilepsy, how do you cope with the fear of them thinking that the next seizure is right around the corner? I've got a dog with epilepsy. Mornings are the worst. I go to sleep scared. I wake up flinching at every move she makes. I'm kind of driving myself crazy. How do you cope? It's a dog though. How would you? I don't have a dog. Actually, it's not necessarily my dog, but how would you guys deal with that if your animal was having seizures?
I guess I would treat it the same as if a friend, because it's like exactly what it is. Your pets are your friends.
Yeah.
Um, where it's like you can only do what you can do, and you can't. I don't know. You can't lose your mind over it. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. It's not your fault. Just be there to help when it does, if it does.
Can
Yeah,
animals get
exactly.
pepper rage?
That would be sad though.
Yeah. Can they take
Yeah,
pills for that?
well, they definitely, yeah. When pets have epilepsy, they absolutely need to take pills. Actually, my friend sent me a link for a cat that was up for adoption that has epilepsy a few weeks ago. And like one of the things in the description was needs to be given a pill 3 times a day. Um,
Ugh.
and also can't live in a house with other cats. And I was like, okay, sorry, yeah, this is an immediate no for me because I am working and also I have 2 other cats, so I will not be able to take care of this cat as much as I would love.
Yeah, the pills that my vet gives to sedate my big cat Poofy before bringing her in to do anything are gabapentin. That is a close cousin to um, pregabalin, which is the one of the two AEDs that I'm on. Um, so I mean, they're sodium channel blockers and stuff. So they're basically the same meds uh, that I get, my cat gets when she needs to calm down. So um, it's it's a fight though. I wouldn't want to give my cat a pill 3 times a day, every day for the rest of her life. That is a fight that is not, I don't know, but if she was having epilepsy, if she was having seizures, I guess maybe what kind of seizures? If they were just absent seizures, then I would, you know, I would,
I doubt
I don't know.
animals are diagnosed
Yeah,
in
it
that kind
would
of
be
detail.
interesting though. I wonder, how would you know if your cat is having absence seizures? It just
And
stares off into space even
yeah, I
when
was
they're
just about to say
not seizing.
anybody who has a cat knows that
Wolf
you will
was
look
there.
over and just see them going like this at the wall for like 5 minutes. So it's
Yeah, I
are
mean,
you looking
maybe
at
there's an
ghosts? What are you
epidemic of
doing?
undiagnosed epilepsy in domesticated cats.
But then
Maybe
you
we
give them
need.
a Keppra and they'll like scratch the shit out of the wall.
Will they have Keppra rage?
They take Keppra. They do prescribe animals Keppra, phenobarbital, and like he said, the gabapentins and zonisamide. Yeah, they take a lot of the same stuff we do.
I wonder what the dosages would be, like how many milligrams. Because obviously, like body weight and stuff. So it's like if it's a cat, it's probably like what, 10 milligrams of
My
like
one
it.
My mom's one cat has to get gabapentin all the time because she has tried to take out the vet several times, and she's had to write a sorry note to the vet for taking out the vet.
That's
She usually has to take gabapentin, but she had now learned the taste of it, so she
oh,
can't take it anymore. I don't know the milligrams, but she's a big girl. She's a big girl. Um, but yeah, my mom warned the tech. She was like, you should probably have the regular doctor here. Tech was like, no, I got it. And my mom picks up the cat, and the tech comes back, and her arm's like all wrapped up. She's like, yeah, she's feisty. She's a lot faster than she looks. My mom's like, yeah. So, she's like, did she take the gabapentin? She's like, yeah, but, I don't know.
is
I
it
wonder if the
building a
Pokemon aware.
tolerance to it?
Probably. She's a big girl. She's
Maybe
big.
it's a bigger dose.
I think she's a part, uh, what are they? They're the big ones.
Maine Coon.
Maine
Yeah,
Coon.
I think she's part Maine Coon for sure.
Yeah, we think that my
Odd.
Poofy is part Maine Coon
Yeah.
too. Just gigantic.
Well, and she came from the street originally, and she's older, so not older, but like she's not a kitten. So she
Yeah,
lived most of her life on the street, so she's not like full on domesticated like some of our other cats are. She's like half.
just got a little edge to
Yeah.
her.
She's a little edgy, so yeah, she's a bit feisty when it comes to the vet, but Tony's a good boy. Tony's a very good boy at the vet.
There was only one vet at the place that I would go to because I don't know, I hate to phrase it this way, but like I'm at the point now where I feel like I can tell if my cats have something wrong. And I can't exactly afford to go to the vet every, 6 months or whatever it is. Um, so I don't necessarily go anymore, unless I know that something's wrong. Um, but there was only one vet tech at the place I would go to who could actually get through to my cats. Everyone else they hated. Um,
Somebody had the touch.
yeah, it was this guy Lance, and I love him, and I still talk to him. He just doesn't work there anymore. Um, and it's hilarious because I always think I see him um out and about in town, but it's actually his twin brother. They both
Oh.
have full sleeve tattoos, exact same haircut, same style of glasses, only his twin brother owns a record store in my city. I always yell out, I'm like, Lance, and it's like, no, not Lance. Whoops, my bad.
I mean, same haircut, same
That's
glasses,
crazy.
frames.
They're making
They've
it
gotta
hard.
be. I mean, they're doing that intentionally, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they make it hard.
This girl sounds really freaked out. She's saying false pregnancy test with Vimpat. I'm over here freaking out. I randomly took a pregnancy test and it came back positive. I have an IUD and I'm so confused. Can Vimpat give me a false positive?
Is
Has
she
this ever happened to
sexually
anyone else? What is that?
is she sexually active?
It's making it sound like, I mean, why else would you take the test? But
Yeah,
she
if there's
did say she
cause for
randomly took a pregnancy test.
but why do you randomly take a pregnancy test?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when I was on Kepra, I was having a lot of hormonal problems and I had a lot of rage, and for a second, because the Kepra was messing with my IUD, I was spotting a lot. And I was like, am I pregnant? But I wasn't like sexually active with men at the time. So I was like, unless she's got some and just inseminated me somehow, then I don't know how to hell. So I was like, can we just go and get $2 store tests? And that was the first time I've ever taken a pregnancy test in my entire life.
Did you ask her to take the second one?
No, she already has a baby. She's got a baby already, which is why I was like, oh, hell no. Because then, first of all, who's the father? And then you're also the mother? Because what? That would be really confusing, guys. So I don't even want to that would be a crazy family dynamic. So
You basically thought at first, like, did this girl just have like a little puff of cum waiting to go?
I just
Sorry, it's from Brett
honestly,
Goldstein comedy special. Little puff of cum.
I had no, I didn't know if she was if she had some leftover cement in her area of prospering, and
That's a good pun as well.
that cement somehow
Amen.
cemented in me and then cemented a being, and I wasn't about that. So I was like, we need to go get a test, and I'm gonna take it. Came back negative, and I was like, gosh, this Kepra's really fucking with me. I need to get off this shit. So yeah, no pregnancy scares since then. Just Kepra and her crazy ass trying to get me pregnant.
Well, that's the best Kepra horror story we've had today.
Yeah, that was I forgot that happened. That was that was the first time I've ever taken a pregnancy test. And
we have had a lot of Kepra questions today. Yeah, but
yeah.
So good thing that you came in with that one.
Well, with my history, it's just crazy that that's the first pregnancy scare I've ever had. I've had a past, and that's the first pregnancy scare. Seriously, is Kepra?
But you were what, 20 years old?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably just the first time you gave a fuck to find out if you were actually pregnant.
Well, no,
I mean, there's always that.
I never had symptoms of where I've been like, am I pregnant? But I think because my hips have grown and because I'm going through that second stage of womanhood, yay. Tony, stop being a bitch. And I don't know, I was just paranoid that maybe somehow she artificially inseminated me somehow with the magic of transfer.
Yeah, Lupa's a big girl, but
they
you're not
say
gonna
the
get
smallest
pregnant by
amount
accident
go
like
the
that.
long way. and I don't want the longest away, so I don't want it anyway. So yeah.
Go ahead,
So-
Jeff.
I want to change my answer to the icebreaker. To the
Yeah.
best thing about this, is
Oh.
loofah.
Right. I gotta get another one-on-one, Lufa. Also, you gotta be sitting down next time.
Okay.
All right. I got something.
Hey, didn't Angel speak up before? Did Mark and Jeff want to talk to somebody about mushrooms?
Talk to me about mushrooms. Am
Oh,
I gonna?
oh.
yeah,
Yeah, so somebody
Mark,
put something
we
about
were-
mushrooms in the chat.
we were discussing lion's mane mushrooms and the benefits. Annie did come in with a lot of info. I had originally been like, "Oh, we got to talk to Mark," because he was going off about mushrooms the other day. So yeah, it was basically there were some questions about lion's mane mushrooms and the benefits.
Are those psychedelics?
Yes.
And Mark told me to
No,
talk
no,
to you, Brandon.
lion's mane are not psychedelics. No,
Okay, I didn't think. Okay,
you
I-
can buy them at the grocery store.
there's
Oh.
okay. There's psycho. It's you know the word. You know the word.
Neuroprotective.
Psychosub. There's
Psychosomatic?
psychosomatic. Bam.
Or do you mean psilocybin?
Yeah, that one too. You guys are so smart. So let's say. So I've done some research and I've looked into people that have tried mushrooms, to help with their mental state. And it has really worked for some people. And for others, it has done the complete opposite and has sent them into psychosis. And I'm just wondering for myself. Well, no, I'm not just wondering for myself. I'm saying in general, so that I wouldn't, in general, would it be a good idea if I tried one of those? Because I feel like I might lean on the path of going into psychosis.
Wait, so you're talking about like magic mushrooms, correct?
Yeah, because some people say that they help with if you microdose them.
Yes. Okay. No. I know where you're going with this.
But
You
I'm
could-
horrified that I'm gonna go into psychosis because I'm susceptible to life.
So what I will suggest is actually, are you on any anti-anxiety meds?
Well, I'm on Klonopin for my sneezers. And I'm also, my doctor just put me on, so here's the thing. The reason that I have been looking for alternative medications and ways to heal my.
Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off here. The reason I asked about that is because if you're on an anti-anxiety, mushrooms don't work for you. The medication counteracts
So the Klonopin would counteract the mushroom?
if it's an anti-anxiety, then yes.
Oh, it's a benzodiazepine, but it works as an anti-anxiety as well.
Okay, yeah. So
It would make sense as to why I never felt anything on mushrooms.
yes, that would be why.
Taken a bunch of mushrooms before, and I sit there and I'm like, I feel weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but
my girlfriend and I got some mushrooms a few weeks ago because I've done them in the past. And I was sitting there total I was chill. I was like, yeah. And then she was just kind of like, I don't really feel it. Should I take more? Because it's her anti-anxieties that we found out make it so that the mushrooms don't work.
So I have been looking into alternative treatments because my brain is susceptible to more neurological adverse side effects of medications, and with the genetic testing that we took, turns out I'm a very expensive patient. Who would have thought? All of the medications that my body responds to have a high risk of, they're older medications that have a high risk of tardive dystonia or tardive dyskinesia, which I've already had before. And then the other 3 that my body responds, so there's 6 that my body responds to, are also have the side effect of tardive dystonia or tardive dyskinesia. Those are the only ones that my body responds to. The other ones that my body doesn't respond to. So it just doesn't break it down, it doesn't do anything. So I asked my psychiatrist today, I was like, so what do we, I agreed to try this new medication, even though it has the potential side effect of tardive dyskinesia. And I asked him, I'm like, what do we do if it doesn't work? If I have another dystonic reaction, like what do we do then? How are we supposed to, what are we supposed to do then? He's like, I don't know, we'll figure it out at that point. But that's why I'm trying to figure out some alternative medicines, because my body is like highly susceptible to dystonic reactions. But
Yeah, so I would suggest like mushrooms probably won't be the best option, just because I think you'd just be throwing your money away. We don't want that. We don't want anyone wasting their money. But if you get a good hookup or something, and somebody wants to, like, I don't know, give you a giant stash of mushrooms and you can actually take like a full cap, then fuck yeah, go for it, girl.
I just don't want to go into psychosis like those other people, but I don't know.
You know yourself
All right.
best. Don't risk it. Be safe.
What I was doing was when I would
isn't-
have the mushrooms, I would take um like a few little strips off, and I would just shove them up in my lip, um, and I would just kind of microdose, um, and it would help just sort of like keep my head level, but I wasn't like taking the mushrooms like all at once to put me at a point of like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess like when
Is
I
that like the
doing
actual organic mushroom material itself, the dried mushroom that you had, Brandon?
Well, I mean, I guess
Because
I've
it
never
doesn't
had
sound
like,
like chocolate bars, so like a strip, I'm just wondering.
oh yeah, well, it's more concentrated, and so like, you're basically like your saliva is just absorbing the psilocybins, and then when you like when you're swallowing your saliva, you're getting it.
Right, but is that that's not a chocolate bar, is it? That you're
No,
just sipping.
no, it's just straight mushroom.
So yeah,
Have you
the
guys
dried mushroom.
heard about the thing going on with the feel good they're like these little they kind of almost look like shooters that you take, and they're supposed to be like an alternative to opioids. And I've tried one before. It didn't do anything. I didn't feel anything. But I was also on a heavy amount of other substances at that time, so I didn't think it would make me feel anything. But there's a lawsuit going on or something where they're being told that people are starting to get addicted to it and that it has addictive properties or something. I don't know. But that's been, I don't know, I saw that pop up. I thought that was kind of funny because I remember drinking one and thinking it tasted so horrible and it doing nothing and being really mad at it. And to find out people are addicted to it, I was like, oh, shit. Guess everyone has different experiences.
Alcohol is addictive, and half the time it doesn't taste good.
Well, it's not alcohol. It's
Oh, okay.
it's called Feel Good. It's supposed to be like a alternative for an opioid. It's supposed to be like a mushroom type, like a liquid mushroom thing.
No, never heard of that.
It comes in like these blue bottles. You can get them at like the vape shop or whatever. But I don't know, maybe it'll be the new bath salts. Who knows? Used to be able to buy those in the gas station.
Says, can epilepsy cause you to sleepwalk? I have had sleepwalking accidents for a long time. I get up and walk around or start talking to someone, whoever is in my bed. Yesterday, I got too much. It got too much from my boyfriend. Where I opened the window to smoke, he said I could, I could have fallen out. I live on the third floor apartment on an apartment block. I have German windows, so they open so far out. Can epilepsy make you sleepwalk? First comment says epilepsy does all kinds of stuff, all kinds of weird stuff to your brain. Sleepwalking might just be a seizure or postictal state. Like maybe you had one while you were sleeping. Another person says, I believe so. Sleepwalk and sleep eat, including non-edible items. And I am currently under investigation for TLE. Things that aren't edible. That's interesting. That's funny. Well, not funny, but
Under investigation for a what?
TLE.
Temporal lobe epilepsy.
Interesting.
Oh,
Putting it.
sorry.
Yeah,
They
it sounded
phrased
like
it-
they were being.
Yeah, I was like, is the law involved?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm
They
sorry.
should have
did
said
you think I
waiting
swear
on a TLE diagnosis.
Yeah.
Anybody sleepwalking?
The sleepwalking itself could be a seizure. Um, from what I've heard, there's certain types of nocturnal seizures that can be mistaken for sleepwalking. So, yeah, I don't know. I had sleepwalking or a history of sleepwalking when I was a child, but I understand that when that goes away around adolescence, it's usually not anything associated with any neurological issues. So,
Also slept walk when I was a child. A lot. I woke up in the shower one time.
yeah, maybe it wasn't so disconnected as I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I was fully clothed and the shower was going and I was in the shower sleeping.
That's pretty scary.
Well, no. I mean, it was more just inconvenient because I was drenched and I was uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, just having the water on while asleep is kind of a dangerous situation to be in.
Tony!
I love that your cat has a 4-letter name because that's usually me yelling at Jack. I'm like, Jack!
Yeah, he's like so sassy for what? It's not even time to eat yet.
I was just gonna add, it might not, necessarily be sleepwalking. It's just having a seizure during the night. Like I've mentioned before with mine, I never remember the seizure. I never remember, usually at least 15 to 30 minutes before or after. So, if something like that happens and it's, not one where it's like a grand mal or something and you're flopping around, then you might just be confusing it or, getting it mixed up with sleepwalking, where it actually just is a seizure, itself. Um, yeah, yeah. I from what I've had and the ones I've had in the middle of the night, and I've had people tell me things like, yeah, we had this full on conversation about this and this, and it had nothing to do with anything we had spoken about within 2 weeks, but for some reason you brought up this subject, and I'm like, oh, okay, if you say so. like what else are you supposed to say in that, as a reply to that?
You ever think that was your case, Pookie? Like a sleepwalk?
Sleepwalking? No, I never thought of that because
Like when you went to the other town and stuff?
yeah, but I had left work and I was awake. So when people seen me last, they said I was awake.
Well, I mean, like it's a seizure, but it's also, you know, like
Yeah,
people,
I was thinking maybe focal underwear.
yeah, complex partial, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to say, is like you and I and us here, we're very well aware of our situations. We've had many seizures and everything. If somebody's only had one, two, maybe never had one before, that's what I'm saying, is they may have confused, that's like them having that seizure with, sleepwalking, because that's a more familiar, I guess, term or, stereotype of something that you hear, somebody do in the middle of the night versus, a seizure, right?
Yeah. So um we were trying to pick apart how long basically did my seizure last, because I left work and I took 3 buses and a train, and I'm
You
trying to
said it was
figure
like
out
17 minutes or something, right?
17 miles.
Miles. Okay, there we go. My bad. Damn, so it was even longer time wise. Ooh, damn. Damn, man.
So since you're from around here, how about you leave Hayward and you make it to Palo Alto? I don't know how I got over there. I left. I don't remember leaving Hayward, so
How did you get like over the bridge and like every and like that?
I'm assuming a train or a bus.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. Wow. That makes me so like so glad that you were safe after all that, because that's a crazy distance, and to
Yeah,
do
when I
that
got off the
by
bus,
yourself while out of it, just wow, man. The kind of craziest thing I've done similar to that was I went to a Warriors game with some buddies of mine when I was, I want to say, like young 20s. And so, obviously, where that is. And like I said, I live in Fremont. So I didn't drive. I took Bart there. Some the fuck how I got back home. Like I left the game early on my own, took Bart, somehow got to the Union City BART station, and I randomly called a friend, apparently. This is what he told me the next day, and he drove me from the Union City BART station back to my house in Fremont. I don't remember leaving the game, being on the BART train, like none of it. Like I have no clue how the hell I got home without getting like robbed or just like killed, or there's just something.
yeah, I
And
don't
it
even
was
remember how I paid for the buses or anything. I cannot remember. But yeah, beyond that, let's move forward. Oh, to the sleepwalking comments. Someone said, I think you can. My son, who got diagnosed a few months ago at 14, sleepwalks, and it was a part of his diagnosis. He once left the house in the middle of the night, so we had to put precautions in place. I used to live in Germany, so I know the windows well. But is this anything? Is this anything you could buy like a toddler lock or something they can't open fully? Or those locks unless they have hotels sometimes? Someone else says, I've come to conclusions that epilepsy can do anything. If our brain stops working correctly for even a few seconds, all bets are off. A few more. One says, the thing about epilepsy is I don't see anyone ever have the same story with regards to seizures, warnings, medications, or side effects. We thought that for 30 years I had a sleepwalking issue. It wasn't. It was after seizure behavior, finally diagnosed at 35. Uh, Can you give yourself epilepsy? Mom has told me countless of times that my past lifestyle of drinking and weed and my ex-girlfriend move across the country caused my epilepsy. I had my first seizure when I was helping her move. Whenever I hear her mention that, it irks me to the point of wanting to hurt someone, if not myself. On top of that, she keeps telling me it's a spiritual attack and with a prayer, it'll go away. I try to ignore her delusion around me, but it's aggravating when your whole life has gone to shit and you have to live with your parents now. Can you give yourself epilepsy? No. Wait, unless you hit yourself in the head or something like that. Thoughts, you
Yeah, I don't
guys?
think anybody could. I don't think anybody could intentionally give themselves epilepsy.
Sorry, Kate. Yeah, if drinking and selling weed could give people epilepsy, then like half of the country would be seizing. It's not, those two are not the drugs that really are so seizure inducing. Some of the weirder designer drugs might be getting into some more dangerous territory, but I don't think that's what the poster is talking about. I mean, yeah, a simple answer to the question, no, you can't give yourself epilepsy the way that mother is hypothesizing.
Doing like drugs and like consuming alcohol can definitely lower your threshold, but if it's gonna happen, you you were already going to have a seizure at some point. Like what, like if the circumstances arose, I suppose, but like you already had epilepsy, it just hadn't shown itself. Um, I guess, and it like yeah, we had somebody on. Somebody asked a question a few weeks ago about like, do you think the fentanyl that I took caused my seizure, not epilepsy, caused my seizure? And it was like, yes, I do believe that this like crazy drug would have caused you to have a seizure, but like unless you have them again, I don't know if it's epilepsy because with drugs that strong, you don't know. Yes, but if it's just alcohol and weed, that didn't cause you to have like continuous seizure. Struck a nerve? What do you mean?
Gotta defend the weed.
Well, yeah, you gotta defend the weed, okay? But yeah, no, that was just me saying like, you know, it those two things I don't think were what caused them to have epilepsy at all. They already had it. It was just a matter of time before it showed.
Okay.
I mean, if you're like a super heavy drinker, there have been cases where, people are like heavy alcoholics and then they just like for whatever reason they have to like go cold turkey and they just stop out of nowhere. Then that screws their body up and people have had seizures because of that. But just because you go out and have, a few drinks with some buddies or something after work for like one or two nights during a weekend, that's not going to cause you to have epilepsy like permanently or anything.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Yeah. If you're waking up and you can't get through, the first hour of the day, or you can't get through an hour throughout the day without having a drink, it's like, okay, you have a problem and your body's being
Yeah, and your body's like, shaking, like you're like going through withdrawals and stuff. Then then it can cause it.
that's a totally different
That's a
story.
whole different. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's a whole different story. That's just what I was gonna say. But yeah, 1 or 2 nights out with some friends or something is not gonna
Yeah.
throw off your whole mind.
Anybody
There's some
else?
comments.
Or next one? Or does anybody else have anything, or next one?
I was going to go through some comments.
Oh, okay.
One says yes and no. I triggered onset of my epilepsy with LSD, but it's highly unlikely that alcohol or weed triggered the onset of yours unless you were going wild. Basically, everyone has had a seizure threshold. Those of us with epilepsy have a low seizure threshold, and it's a spectrum within the epilepsy community. Our medications raise our seizure threshold while our triggers lower it. Alcohol is known to lower your threshold, usually during the hangover phase. Weed is known, but generally perceived as a helper rather than harmful. But some epileptics have adverse reactions. So while alcohol and weed are unlikely to have caused your epilepsy, the use of them may have lowered your already low threshold, and having seizures make you more likely to have more seizures. Let me know if you need me to rephrase that.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Fully agreement or in agreement.
Someone says, I may have given myself epilepsy via head injury, not likely from drinking though. However, alcoholics who quit drinking immediately without tapering off are likely to have an experience seizures and other potentially life-threatening withdrawal symptoms. Life-threatening. One more. Head trauma and abuse of drugs and alcohol can trigger seizures, which may cause damage, which then results in epilepsy. Anyone else feel misunderstood for being too quiet? People often think I'm shy or uninterested just because I don't talk too much, but really, I just process things differently. How do you explain how this makes me? Just how do you explain how this makes me? Does it make sense?
I don't think that that's a trait of their epilepsy because, like, I have epilepsy, and I heard it described one time as like it was in a show, but my girlfriend agreed with it 100% because she was like, walking down the street with you is like walking down the street with someone who is uh trying to get nominated for the mayor of nowhere because because I'm just so nice and so talkative to everyone all the time, and it gets me into trouble because I'll make a funny comment to someone and then they want to fight me, but you know, um then other times I have really great interactions. So yeah, this if they don't want to talk to people, it's not because of their epilepsy, it's just their personality, and that's totally okay. You can be antisocial, it's fine.
That's what the comments were saying. It's all right. You don't have to talk. People say I don't want to talk all the time. I walk past people saying things all the time. Yeah, not the best ones, but yeah. So someone says, when is it time to hire a caregiver? Caregiver. I am lost and so scared. Husband has auras every other week or so on average, usually lasting 1 to 2 days of multiple auras beginning in the morning. They lead to seizures unless he takes emergency nasal spray. He's on daily meds but no improvement in sight. I'm able to be home. I'm able to be at home now, but in a few months I'll be gone for 12 to 16 hours a day for 6 months. He can't be alone, in my opinion. When he has seizures, he stands up and walks around and breaks things. He could easily hurt himself from falling or broken glass, etc. I'm so worried. I have no idea where to begin.
First step is, well, clearly this needs to happen in the next, what did they say, 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like first step for them would be to check in with their health insurance, see what their caregiver options are, and what they can afford to do, because it does seem like this guy does need a full-time caregiver if he's having, if he's breaking stuff when he's having seizures, and like he could hurt himself, so we don't want that,
Yeah, I think it's time to get a caregiver now. I wouldn't even risk leaving him alone.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be like a part-time caregiver to sort of get used to him, and he can get used to them.
Or a neighbor.
A neighbor.
Give a neighbor a key every now and then.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to put that on a neighbor, like.
Or surveillance.
Get a nanny cam.
No, there's regular surveillance these days.
No, sorry, that was
Works even better.
But I mean, like, if you're asking a neighbor to go to your house to check on your husband, who may or may not be having a seizure where he's violent,
yeah,
I wouldn't want to put someone in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd feel bad. If they volunteered, it's like, okay, maybe every once in a while, but like I wouldn't want to rely on them, because say they have something to do and they can't be there.
Right.
You don't want to you don't want them guilty for not being able to be there because you don't have anyone else.
Correct.
So yeah,
And you always want to keep the patient included. I was just going to say, you always want to keep the patient included on the decision too, so he'd be more likely to be accepting of anybody showing up if he at least got in on the choice.
yeah,
Understand why it's a better way to do it.
And that's why I think going like actual caregiver would be the best option for them. They just need to explore the options, because at least that person is getting paid to be there, and should anything go wrong, SUDEP, choking, whatever. Actually, I shouldn't say SUDEP, because, well, no, actually, you wouldn't want a neighbor to like find you dead. But like they're trained to actually deal with medical problems. So having a neighbor just check in every once in a while would put a lot more stress on my. If I were in that position, I wouldn't be like super confident leaving, knowing that it's just a random neighbor who's helping out. But if it was an actual caregiver, it's like, okay, I can trust this person to keep my partner healthy and safe.
Or there's an open apartment near me, and if we're both neighbors, we're both on here at the same time, we could save one another possibly, know what I mean?
Yeah, until the day comes where both people are having seizures at the same time.
I was gonna say we both
past
have
each other
nobody,
in the
so
hallway and sit down in each other's living rooms. Turn
Our
on.
seizure periods are matching up.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I wonder if it's kind of like when women live together and their cycles match up. If like people were living together with epilepsy, if our cycles would match up.
I don't think
Sorry.
your hormones really do shit.
I don't actually think that's a real thing. It was a total joke based on like it being said a million times in media. It's like, oh my god, we're on the same cycle. Like, no, you're really not.
My sister's my caregiver, so there's that. But yeah.
Your
Me and
sister,
that guy could be caregivers to each other. He could be like, I need some help. Come look at me real quick.
and to be clear, Pookie, it's your sister who recognizes that you have a disability, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, that was uncouth. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Brandon. Yeah, so this I say it's time to hire a caregiver because I got a caregiver once that started happening. But then yeah, just got a caregiver.
I didn't realize how many people were into hypnosis now for reducing stress. The original post was just asking, I don't like to go, saying they don't like to go outside ever for any reason, and they do have epilepsy. All the comments are explaining that hypnosis is something that might help ease your stress levels, that could be in turn a trigger of your seizures, but don't get confused that psychological versus the neurological condition of epilepsy is not going to be a long-term solution, basically. And yeah, there's a lot of comments on here of people vouching for hypnosis, saying it addresses behavior problems, and that does help the epilepsy. But
I feel like
yeah,
this
I didn't
would
think people
be
could
a
change.
case of hypnosis to deal with an agoraphobia like problem. You know, like if they don't want to go outside, it might have some connections to agoraphobia, which then the stress is now inducing seizures, I guess.
What's agoraphobia
Agoraphobia
again?
is technically just a complicating factor on a panic disorder. Like according to the
Is it?
DSM,
Oh,
it's not actually its own diagnosis.
oh.
The way the
But the
poster describes it in this one is just saying they're paranoid of everything, thinking like
Okay.
they'll step outside and like a streetlight will fall on them.
Well, okay, so yeah, that actually makes sense with what Mark just said, where it's involved with a panic disorder.
Or that could
I
also be an obsessive compulsive disorder as well.
isn't that isn't there a huge panic aspect to that as well?
Yeah,
like panic if things aren't done, or like
it could be having obsessive thoughts about, going outside and whatnot.
hmm,
So
I
uh,
I would I would definitely connect
what
this
was
more
the
panic thing.
what was the original post saying?
Saying that they were really paranoid to go outside and just asking others' opinions on whether hypnosis would help with the epilepsy, but also making point that they were really paranoid.
I think
Paranoid of the people or paranoid of the surroundings?
It sounded more like the surroundings because I think they did mention something about being injured by, yeah, worried about it getting out of hand. He walks into a pub and just sees everybody like start throwing up or something.
yeah, this is an anxiety and panic like issue. I don't want to say issue, but you know what I mean when I say it. Where this person like hypnosis would probably really help them in overcoming that fear of going out. It's not the fear of being out, or it's not the fear of open spaces, which apparently, according like now I'm learning from Mark that agoraphobia is more the fear of going out into the open. Um, I think that's where their problem lies, is they need to sort of get past that issue first, and hypnosis would be a really good thing for that, because I mean, hypnosis is good for very direct solves. You know, like you're not going to get over childhood trauma by just being, you know, hypnotized into being like, forget about it. Um, but if it was one singular incident that is causing you, you know, to have a focus on this paranoia and this fear of going out, um, then yeah, hypnosis would be probably very beneficial. I mean, therapy too, but therapy would probably go along with the hypnosis, I think.
The most recent comment is saying, unfortunately, I've undergone hypnosis a few times, and it actually always triggers focal seizures 24 to 48 hours after. Don't know why, but it does.
Whoa.
Understand what
That
the
can be a trigger.
is. Are we talking like EMDR or?
No, they don't get really specific about hypnosis. Is that what you're talking about? Like what specific kind of hypnosis do
Yeah,
they
like
get?
what specific type of hypnosis are? Because I've tried EMDR before.
Yeah.
That didn't do anything.
No, they didn't get any more specific than that.
I've never done any hypnosis. Like, has anybody here had any success with hypnosis?
Nope.
I guess
Never
I should
tried
say,
it.
raise your hand if you have, because having everyone go, nope, 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 and have it all be muffled. Raise your hand
I
if you
You
have.
try to make sure you're not getting scammed, you know.
There's
Well-
that too. Because when you get put under, you don't know what's happening. So you could just be totally getting fucked with.
That's if
Well,
you get
in order that there's been studies done on hypnosis and the effectiveness of hypnosis, and they found that hypnosis is most effective on the people who are already the most receptive to it. So you've got to be kind of
Yeah,
already inclined to
I think
believe that the
Yeah.
hypnosis will
I
help.
think you have to like have sort of a placebo effect almost in your mind placed.
Yeah, if
The
you go into it with like
work.
a really strong skeptic, I mean, not
Yeah,
even
if
a
because for
skeptic,
me, like
just
I'm more
an
of a
like this is not going to do anything, then you can definitely just make it nothing more than sitting in a recliner for an hour with somebody
well,
talking to you.
I'm
You
like
need to
I'm very
believe that
open,
it's gonna happen.
very
If
open.
Yeah,
you if you
yeah,
don't
you need
believe it's
that's
gonna
it. Yeah,
happen,
you need
it's
to.
not.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
very
you need to
open
be
to
receptive to the
things,
to
but I think with hypnosis you have to be a certain type of you just got to be a certain type of person. It just doesn't work on everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's 100% true.
I I think people who are more like who think more like logically sometimes may not be as receptive to it, but they also could be. Um, but I think that it definitely just it depends on the severity and it depends on the type of person you are and how your brain is already and if you can kind of people affect that it's gonna work.
I never knew there were different like types of it. What are the different type, like what's the differences between them, and what would work better if there is one that works better for somebody with epilepsy?
Um, I don't know. I did EMDR and I don't know what came out of that. I still have no idea what that
But
is.
what is that? Because
You
like I
just
said
follow
before,
you're just following someone's finger and
what I was gonna say is because like I've mentioned, I
I
can
don't
see in the
know.
back, I collect pocket watches.
There's
So to me, like I just think of like the stereotypical, like in a movie, like
yeah with
watch the watch. Yeah, like that's
well
all I know about it.
I've
I don't
also
want to be disrespectful, but that's, yeah, I'm just saying.
I've also done one where this lady took me out into a middle of a cornfield with crystals and horses, and she said that she was gonna burp out all of my negative energy.
Burp out.
That that sounds
Burp out.
interesting.
Burp out, yeah.
God,
And we
Lofa,
said
you listened to a woman who said that she was gonna have you burp out
no,
something.
she was burping it out, not me.
Oh, she was burping. Okay, so
I
you
was
didn't have to
I
sit
was
there and go.
no, I was just she was like, "Oh yeah, I can feel all of your energy," and I was like, "I have no idea what."
And so like, okay, I'm here. Whatever.
I've tried a lot of different therapies, but there's just I don't know, my brain likes to counteract them.
Only been to
They're snake oil. They're snake oil in a bottle.
Venom?
Is that
No, you know, like like the old like stereotype, like in the 1800s, people would sell like traveling salesmen would sell like
Oh,
snake
I know
oil
what
as
you're
like
talking about. Yeah, I
a
know what you're
cure for a catch-all cure for everything.
Yeah.
That was just the joke I was playing on. Sorry.
Yeah. I definitely believe with like when it comes to like, Earth and the different elements and being spiritualistic with that and connecting with the earth and your body. But when it comes to terms of hypnosis, or someone else doing that to me, I don't know if it's because I want nobody to be hypnotizing me, because I don't want to be part of a cult at the end of the day or something. But
Yeah, it's almost you want to have like a second person in the room that you trust, right? Just to make sure you're not getting like taken advantage of or something.
I also just I don't really think it would work for me. I don't have that level of um, placebo in my mind to affect that.
Yeah, I'm not like spiritual or religious either. So I honestly I wouldn't give it a shot,
I mean, I've
to
talked
be
about
honest. But
I want to try uh what is it called when they take the demons out of you. I want to do one of
ex
those.
exorcism.
I want to try an exorcism. Yeah. Just because I'm interested. Like I want to experience it, see what, if it works, if something will happen.
If I pay for that, would you do it for real?
I would do it. 100%.
That sounds awesome.
That's on my bingo cards. It's on my bingo cards. I want to get an exorcism and I want to go skydiving.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not laughing to be rude, but those are just like two like completely polar opposite like things to like have like on your like life checklist, you know, right?
Yeah,
Like
no, I think I'd be good after that.
no, they're both cool. I'm just
Yeah,
saying it was just like two like
no.
completely opposite things. That's really cool.
I mean, shit, I'll skydive in Italy and then after I'll go and get an exorcism done. Whee! Skydive
I was gonna say have a skydiving priest do the exorcism during the
while I'm in,
skydive.
Mhm.
so I
That
can really
how awesome would that
interact
be,
with all of
right?
the demons. Meanwhile, he's like, the second shoot isn't coming out.
He's like splashing holy water on your face as you guys are like
Yeah.
So,
Did you pull the chute yet? It's like, no, God will tell us when we're at the ground.
oh man, I got one. It says, it says, can I have alcohol? I
No.
recently, about a week ago, got on lamotrigine. It's about 25 milligrams. I was wondering if I'm able to drink on it, as it's my friend's B-day and have social anxiety that doesn't allow me to loosen up. I want to be able to drink a moderate amount, say maybe 3 drinks.
Tony.
Is that possible? First comment says, yes, I'm drunk right now. Second one says, I've had an issue of having a ridiculously high tolerance to alcohol, but tonight I've had 3 times triple, maybe quadruple gins and cider, a cocktail, and I'm at a social level.
I think that if you're moderating yourself, you're not really at a super high dose of Micto, honestly. It really just depends on your body and if you think you can handle it. Me personally, um, I would have to prep myself days in advance so that I could train. But if it's just like a one-time thing, I wouldn't say it's like the worst no in the world, but
Yeah. couple more comments. One says alcohol can worsen the side effects of the medication. And since nobody on this sub is a doctor, take everything as an anecdotal experience.
Most medications, if not all, are going to have interactions with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone can ask that about any medication. Zoloft to something with their blood sugar, whatever, I don't know. But even vitamins, like anything can interact with alcohol. It just depends on your body. You just really have to know your body. And if you can handle it and how much you can handle and if you can safely do it. But not in a mean way, but don't ruin your friend's birthday party by having too much to drink and having a seizure, because that's just kind of lame.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a seizure, that is lame. So, yeah, especially if you have one at my birthday and we could have prevented this.
Having seizures are lame.
Yes, very much. Says my son passed away from a seizure. We lost my son Wednesday. He was 29 years old. He was diagnosed less than 2 years ago, and this was his fourth seizure. He was overweight, and we were told that it contributed to his passing. He was diligent about taking his meds. He had an alarm on his phone. He would feel an aura before they happened. This one was sometime very early in the morning, so he may not have recognized it. May not have recognized it and woken up to go to the bathroom or being half asleep. He was found by his brother that morning, and it was too late. We don't know when it had happened or when the seizure had happened. He never remembered anything from his seizures. It is my hope that he did not feel anything and did not suffer. I wish I could have been there for him more. Maybe if I would have heard him, I could have helped him or at least been there with him instead of him passing alone. How do I deal with this? He was always a healthy growing up. We don't know why this developed so late in life. Please take care of yourself and for your loved ones. Before all that, the person said, how do I deal with this? I haven't lost anyone due to a seizure, and that is one of my worst fears. I don't want to leave my family due to my epilepsy.
Especially a child, an adult child. That's
Person
gotta be
was
so hard.
I think, yeah, you deal with this the same way you deal with any loss, you know?
Mhm.
You have to grieve and go through the process of losing someone you love so much, you know?
Yeah, especially because of Sudat. Could have been that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think something that people don't take into account a lot is the SUDEP is like there's nothing you can really do to prevent that if it just happens, it's not anyone's fault. It just happens to be something that can happen, you know.
I wonder why the doctor suggested too that his weight contributed.
There's
Maybe they think
something
any extra stress.
Go ahead, Jeff.
There's something totally different about losing a child. It's not like grieving for a parent. You expect to lose a parent. When you're grieving for a child, a piece of your heart is gone. It's gone. And it's something that you think you grieve and you think you get over, but you never get over.
Well, yeah, you see a lot of those parents get divorced after they lose a child, and you don't see siblings divorced or anything usually after a parent dies, so I could definitely see what you mean. It's a different type of unexpectedness.
A void.
Yeah. Especially like I would feel for unless the father was the sole provider, I would definitely feel for the mother after carrying a child in your body for 9 months and then losing them at any age would be gut wrenching, because they were a part of you at one point.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.